Tonight is a very special board meeting for our community, and it gives our board the opportunity to visit Las Fiestas Elementary School. I would like to thank our amazing and hardworking principal, Mr. Martinez, thank you, and the staff for hosting our meeting here tonight. I know a lot of work went into preparing for this meeting, and we recognize it. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. We'd also like to acknowledge our parents, our students who make time to join us here to be part of this meeting. Padres, abuelos, tíos, estudiantes, bienvenidos. Gracias por acompañarnos hoy en la noche. Te agradecemos tu presencia. La educación de los niños es prioridad para nosotros y para ustedes. Le agradezco al director Martínez, todo su equipo, los maestros y equipo que hacen todo eso posible esta noche, porque pueden tener un crecimiento para sus hijos, pueden tener una carrera, un trabajo en el futuro gracias al trabajo que están haciendo ellos. Mi hija Valeria graduó de las Laureles Elementary, muy parecido a la comunidad de Las Fiestas, y luego de Los Fresnos High School, y hoy en día ella trabaja en Orlando, está terminando su maestría, trabajando para Disney, y todo esto gracias a la educación que recibió de aquí, de Los Fresnos CISD. Entonces, es la oportunidad para todos y te agradecemos tu confianza en estar aquí con nosotros. Please allow me to introduce our trustees who are here with us tonight. My name is Donald Hendrickson. I serve as board president this year, and I'm joined by Vice President Martín Castillo, Board Secretary Amaya, Trustee Trevino, Trustee Sandra Garcia, and our Superintendent, Dr. Gonzalo Salazar. I read a little bit of history on Las Fiestas. I understand it was built in 1955. Been here a long time. It became part of Los Fresnos CISD in 1972. The commitment to Las Fiestas community is reflected in our board's operating procedure that mandates our board meetings must be held once per year in this section of the district. My grandmother grew up in rural Indiana, and thanks to public education from a school like this, she was able to get her education and move on with her life. We're very proud every time we see the students from Las Fiestas in our parade, Cerro Fresnos, and we're proud of the academic progress. In March of this year, the community of Las Fiestas experienced extreme flooding, and as the governor issued a disaster declaration mobilizing state resources, our superintendent, our principal, Ms. Martinez, and staff began organizing resources for the students and families impacted by floods. The staff worked through the week and set the example of why public schools not only educate students, but lead by examples of how to serve others. We are part of the community and take very seriously your children's education. Thank you for your trust. Gracias por tu confianza. Dr. Salazar, item 2, Pledge of Allegiance.
Mr. Henderson, members of the board, this evening we have students that help lead us in the pledge. I'm here to introduce them as the proud principal of Las Fiestas Elementary, Ms. Lynn Martinez. Ms. Martinez.
Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Salazar. It is my pleasure to introduce two of our outstanding LYE students this evening. First, we have Fernanda Rivera, a third-grade student in Miss Lopez's class. Fernanda is the daughter of Spider Hernandez and Diego Rivera. She dreams of becoming either an astronaut or an artist when she grows up. In her free time, she enjoys painting, spending time with her dog Luna, and cheering as part of the LYE cheer team. Please welcome Miss Fernanda Rivera. We also have Darely Ramirez, a 4th grade student in Miss Corona's class. Darely is the daughter of Pedro and Grecia Ramirez. She aspires to be a singer like her favorite artist, Carol G. In her spare time, she enjoys listening to music and is also a proud member of our LYE team. Please welcome Darely Ramirez. Both Fernanda and Darely are shining examples of creativity, ambition, and school spirit we see in our students every day here at Las Fiestas.
Ladies and gentlemen, these beautiful young ladies are here to help lead us in the pledge. Would you please rise for the pledge? Let's remove all heads.
Thank you so much. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated, and thank you so much, young lady, for helping us today. Are the parents of our 2 young students here, if they can stand and be recognized, please? Or just lift your hand. Muchas gracias por su ayuda. Next item, roll call. Mr. Maya.
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, since you've already introduced this, I would just like to make note that Assistant Secretary, the Secretary and Mr. Kevin Montes, trustees are not present.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, did you verify the agenda was posted as required under law?
I do.
Item on the agenda, district presentation. Number 1, student performances. Dr. Salazar.
So, Mr. Henderson and members of the board, this evening I'd like to introduce our instructional officer and introduce us to our students.
Good evening. My name is Mrs. Bejarano, the instructional officer here at Las Fiestas. Welcome, members of the board, Dr. Salazar, and guests. Buenas noches, miembros de la Junta Escolar y invitados. Esta noche estamos emocionados de destacar a 3 grupos que traen tanto orgullo y espíritu a nuestra escuela. El Longhorn Coro, las coristas y los Longhorns pequeños de pre-kinder, primero y segundo grado. Tonight we are excited to highlight 3 groups that bring so much pride and spirit to our school. The Longhorn Choir, the LYE Cheerleaders, and the Longhorn Littles from pre-K to 2nd grade. Bajo la dirección de la señora Alejandro y la señora González, estos estudiantes han trabajado duro para brindarles una actuación especial que muestra su talento, dedicación y amor por nuestra escuela. Under the direction of Mrs. Alejandro and Mrs. Gonzalez, these students have worked hard to prepare a special performance that showcases their talent, dedication, and love for our school. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome and a big round of applause.
up.
Before we leave, if you don't mind, if you just give us a moment, I want to see if any of our trustees would like to say something before I finish up.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you all for lending us the children. These are beautiful children. Unos niños tan bonitos, preciosos. Y ustedes, muchas gracias. Se aventaron. Espero mucho.
Una palabra nomás de gracias para ustedes y compartir sus hijos con nosotros. Esto es lo que nos da gusto a nosotros y nos recuerda por qué hacemos lo que hacemos. Muchas gracias.
cute to register at las Estes. Without a doubt, no cabe duda que Dios nos ha bendecido con alumnos tan bellos, tan talentosos, y yo también quiero expresar tanto gusto. Mi copa está rebosando ahorita. My cup is overflowing from just experiencing this performance. We do want to tell you we have an item on the agenda tonight to accept partial substantial completion of a performing arts center, and I can't wait to see them on stage at that performing arts center. El Centro de las Artes está hoy en los jueves y estará probablemente en este escenario de ese teatro.
Quiero dar las gracias a la maestra Alejandro y maestro González por todo. Aquí se ve que hay mucho talento y eso es importante que los maestros tienen oportunidad para compartir eso con todos nosotros. Otra vez, gracias, directora Martínez, por ayudarnos aquí esta noche. También a la señora Granados, que vino de los pueblos CIC para arreglar todo el micrófono y todo para esta noche. Gracias, Granados. Puedo pedir que los padres y los abuelos de los estudiantes que están aquí, por favor, que se puedan parar para conocer a ustedes. Parents, stand up. Los niños salen primero y luego si más cientos más darles un 2 minutitos que salen y luego si quieren pasar por ellos. Y mientras que van saliendo nos voy a dar las gracias otra vez. Qué bonito compartir estos talentos con nosotros para ver el desfile junto a mí. Thank you for that challenge. We really enjoyed it. We'll let the students leave and then we'll ask you to go ahead and go by to the students. One other item, parents, on October the 4th, you have a lot of talent here. Abuelos también que están aquí con nosotros. Octubre 4 es un sábado a las 8:30 de la mañana. Les invitamos ahí al Performing Arts Center en Carretera 100 en el CTE Center. Se acaba de inaugurar y nos encantaría que vienen a visitar para poder ver dónde van a estar cantando y saliendo obras pronto. Entonces va a ser el sábado 4 a las 8:30, si nos gusta acompañar allá del Performing Arts Center.
También vamos a tener un tour de un centro de capacitación técnico, el CTE Center, donde cuando lleguen ellos a preparatoria, a la escuela preparatoria, tendrán clases donde les enseñarán destrezas en ciertas industrias para que los estudiantes los gradúen no nada más con un diploma de la preparatoria, sino que también un certificado técnico. Les invitamos el día 4 de octubre, el sábado a las 8:30, allí donde está el centro de capacitación. Vamos a mandar un recordatorio por reminder. Nos esperamos por allí.
Tonight, it is school night, so we appreciate you having us here. You made us feel very welcome. But please go ahead, if you'd like to go ahead and get your children. It's a school night, go home, have dinner. We're going to finish our meeting here. If you'd like to stay in your public meeting, you're welcome to stay, but we won't get off meeting here if you'd like to go ahead and go home. So thank you again. Okay, item number 5, 2 multi-hazard emergency operations plan, Dr. Salazar.
Mr. Henderson, members of the board, this evening we present the multi-hazard emergency operations plan. We're presenting to you first. This same presentation will be presented district-wide at every campus and every department to bring awareness to the basic plan that is in place. So we begin tonight with our mission statement. Every time we put on a presentation, we start off with a mission statement, and our goal this evening is to tie everything back to the mission of the school district, which is to provide a quality educational experience that results in the development of socially responsible lifelong learners. Goal 1 of the board adopted goals states that the district will maintain safe and positive school environment where students, parents, and employees and community can community members are welcome and can engage. This goal, this board adopted goal, which is goal 1, is woven into our district improvement plan. You can see it throughout our district improvement plan. And I'm just going to tell you about 2 objectives that are on our plan. Performance objective number 3 is that we're going to ensure compliance with the district's emergency operations plan. And we're going to do so by engaging staff in trainings. And then objective number 4 speaks to the fact that we're going to provide not just security personnel, but all of the resources and equipment as well. And those statements in our goals and our board adopted goal and those objectives are also present in the formal adoption of our emergency operations plan. There's a purpose statement that's set in part that stakeholders expect stakeholders in Los Fresnos. Who are the stakeholders? Well, we had a room full of them here a minute ago, and then all of you and all of us and everyone on the board and administration, we all expect that schools remain safe havens for education. Los Fresnos cannot predict. The second statement is that we can't predict everything that could possibly happen, every emergency incident that could possibly happen. So that is not a clause to say we just couldn't predict everything. We say because we can't predict everything, then we have to have a plan for everything that could occur, is what is in that statement. And so the district plan helps us to ensure that Los Fresnos CISD continues to provide a safe and orderly environment that results in environments that are conducive to learning. There are several objectives in our plan. If we can switch over a couple of slides. So go ahead and put all those bullets up, please. Our emergency operations plan is a framework that supports the district's overall educational mission. It's tied back to our mission. We couldn't deliver on our mission without the work that is done in our emergency operations plan. So we set out to prepare and protect our students in a manner that allows vital interests and daily operations to continue. We do it in a way that reduces the loss of life. Our goal is to reduce the loss of life and property. That we want to respond quickly to save lives, protect property and the environment, and meet the basic human needs after an emergency incident. We also have an obligation to assist if an emergency incident were to occur with the continued stabilization and vital support systems of our entire community. So when a crisis is over, because we as the district are stewards of the resources that taxpayers make available to us, then our goal, and we have an obligation to make sure that we participate in the stabilization of our community, and that we play an integral part in that as well. So these objectives apply to all hazards and to all staff members on every campus and every department. The scope of our EOP addresses district planning and procedures for all emergencies. We can go to the next slide. And it consists of 5 distinct parts: prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. We'll look at those in more detail in a little bit. Where do we get the authority to create an emergency operations plan? An emergency operations plan is required by the Texas Education Code. Chapter 37 of the Education Code spells out that the plan must address prevention, mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. So our plan aligns well to state and federal standards. In fact, we use NIMS, the National Incident Management System, as the standard. That's the standard that the state uses for all school districts to maintain an emergency operations plan. So can we go to the next slide, please? So I'm having to call. I stopped the answer help because the range on my clicker betrayed me today. Emergency drills. So we're all familiar with the emergency drills that we have on our campuses, and the frequency with which we have those drills. That's what we need our staff in order. Although those are not the only things that we staff at the campuses to be prepared with, and in a little bit I'm going to show you some of the other things that we deal with, and some of the other incidents that we prepare for, and how the drills that we practice on campus help us carry out all of the other portions of our plan. So some of the emergency management and other hazards that we have to deal with consist of the ones that are appearing on the screen. Let's go ahead and show just the enormity of the task. And so we are grateful that you have allowed us to hire a police chief, a full-blown police department, an emergency management coordinator, who prepared the plan that we presented to TEA and was recently approved. But just imagine all of the things that we have to prepare. They're all represented on that screen. So how do we take the enormity of that task and bring order to it? You can go on to the next slide. Well, we have to prepare annexes to our basic emergency operations plan. And so by producing well-detailed annexes to our plan that cover all 5 areas of an emergency operations plan: prevention, preparedness, mitigation, recovery. That's how we bring order to the chaos that would otherwise exist in an emergency. And so you see the screen represents the order that we brought to the chaos that could occur if we didn't have plans. And then we have those spaces. Those spaces on this slide are also symbolic of things that we cannot even fathom yet, things that may occur elsewhere that we may have to prepare a plan for in our school district. So, and this plays out to what we have to do in our school district. It's not unique to Los Fresnos. This plays out in every school district across the state of Texas. You go to the next slide. So Los Fresnos has threat assessment teams. We have threat assessment teams that strive to prevent violence. Now we're getting into, first with the drills, we were talking about preparedness, right? And then the annexes talk about our response and recovery. They detail not only detail for each possible incident, they detail response and recovery, but threat assessment teams focus on prevention. So threat assessment teams strive to prevent violence and provide support to district community members in crisis before an individual poses a threat to themselves or others. And then the last paragraph that I lifted from our emergency operations plan in that slide talks about the fact that we have a policy that tells us how we should proceed. We have a policy in place that states how we should proceed whenever we have a perceived threat. All of it is captured not only in our emergency operations plan, but also in policy. And should we fail to follow our emergency operations plan, we're also in violation of our policy. We have several tools available to us that help us track our response, our preparedness, and serve as evidence of the work that we're doing. So you see on the slide that's on the screen, we have the Sentinel safety audits. I've shared this screenshot with you before. This is a platform that originally was shared with us by the Texas School Safety Center, and now has been transferred over to TEA's school safety department. TEA now has a czar for school safety, and everything having to do with our emergency operations plan is tracked by this in this platform. And what you see there is that of the schools that have been audited, 14.3% of all of our schools have been audited this year, and we have passed with our intruder audits with flying colors. We also have a behavioral threat assessment dashboard on Sentinel. So any incident that could pose a potential threat, a threat assessment team at every campus will take that potential threat and run it through the filters of this tool. Now, in some instances, you may find that the threat, the perceived threat a student makes, or the perceived threat that the student could cause, or a staff member for that matter, gets captured on this platform, on this dashboard, and that would be shared with any school district in the state. Should a student move from Los Fresnos to another district or come to us from another district, if the threat assessment team did what they're supposed to do, we would not be approaching it. We would not be enrolling the student with blind eyes. So there are also off-ramps, because not every threat has to be documented to this degree. So sometimes the threat doesn't rise to the level that it gets captured here, and the last thing we want to do is criminalize a student that had a lapse in judgment and just made a bad decision, said something inappropriate. So the system is created in such a way that there are off-ramps and other avenues to pursue for that, for instances like that. We also have Raptor. We told you about Raptor in the past. Raptor is probably on about 95% of our teachers' phones. It is important to remind you that Raptor is just one additional tool, an additional layer to the preventative measures that we have. So now we're getting a little bit into response, the response portion of our emergency operations plan. So on our phones, we have an alarm that will go off, and every teacher that has it on their phone, any staff member who has it on their phone, can call for a lockdown if they experience something. We've also shared Raptor with first responders, and so we know that this is one additional layer that should somebody call a lockdown and indicate that it's because we have an armed intruder on campus, then we've increased the response time. We've reduced, what I meant to say is we've reduced the response time, and the cavalry will be on the way. I'll show you in a little bit where we have, in a little bit I'm going to share with you how we have MOUs with law enforcement agencies around our community and surrounding areas. So Raptor is also a campus tracking tool. It helps us track emergency drills. I showed you earlier the list of drills we're required to have and the frequency with which we are to schedule those drills. Well, Raptor is a platform that allows us to schedule those drills, and administrators can get really busy improving teaching and learning and meeting the needs of our students, our parents. We'll also give reminders if they don't hold the drill that was scheduled. And so they have several opportunities. You can see on this platform we get to enter the date when school begins, the school year, the date when it ends, the date when you schedule. So what you're seeing is just an example of one of the campuses in our district. And then they get to enter the date when it was actually held. Okay? So there's no fibbing. Sentinel also helps us track our door logs. We now get to check when our security personnel gets to log in which doors have been checked at what time of the day, and so it becomes not just a practice but documentation that we are carrying out those practices. So the Texas School Safety Center also gives us an analysis tool, and that analysis tool you can click through the different bullets. Thought it was going to be entertaining to put so many bullets. I'm thinking that now. But there is a criteria that we have to follow to analyze our potential hazards, the potential threats to the safety of our staff and our students. And you can see across the top of the chart that's in your binders the criteria and the weights that is put on the duration of not just of the incident itself, but of the recovery. And so our emergency management coordinator and our chief of police get to work on plans for how we would respond to these. And this data is what drives the decisions that we put into the annexes for each of the categories in that report. So I'll skip over to resources because you have that information. In resources, you can see that Los Fresnos CISD has formal agreements and memorandums of understanding with the City of Los Fresnos, the Los Fresnos Police Department, with Cameron We also have agreement with the American Red Cross. You know that we have a shelter at the Dome at Los Brothers United, and so the agreement is the fact that we agree to house cots and other resources for them there, and so that we have access to them should we need them. And the agreement is also that we're going to make 80% of that floor space at the Dome available at a moment's notice, and we can do that because we have retractable bleachers there. We also have an agreement with Roma ISD. Why is that agreement there? We have a fleet of buses that could topple over in high winds, and so if ever there's a hurricane in the Gulf, we move all but 10 of our school buses over to Roma ISD away from the coast. And I really appreciate the pleasant disposition of the school board and the superintendent in Roma, who didn't bat an eye. Immediately they said, yes, we'll work with you. Well, why do we keep 10 buses? Because we are only stewards of the resources that the community needs available to us, and we use those 10 buses. If the county ever needs us to help with evacuation, then our contribution is 10 of those buses. After the end of an evacuation, we would find lodging for those bus drivers and their families in Roma, and then make one last trip to Roma and take those buses to high ground. We also have an area command in our emergency operation plan. It speaks to area command, and there's an organizational chart of who's in charge of area command and making decisions for the area. And that begins with the superintendent. So then there's an organizational chart. The delegation of duties are further spelled out in our emergency operations plan. But then there's also an incident command. If there was an incident on a campus, the superintendent is not the incident command. It is our chief of police, and his officers are trained to take control of the situation until he gets to the site. Then he becomes the incident commander, and then eventually, if there are other law enforcement agencies supporting us, then they can agree to form a unified command. But there will always be one incident commander. So the next slide shows the school safety and security committee. This committee meets 3 times out of the year, at minimum 3 times. We can meet more often, but at minimum we are required to meet 3 times, and both the superintendent and the board president are on this committee. So the next slide, I'll round things off by telling you that our primary goal is to maintain safety in our schools so that we can deliver on our own mission. And I'll pause here to see if you have any questions for us. If you don't mind, Mr. Richard, can I join the team again?
Yes, Dr. Salazar. Any questions? Mr. Trevino.
So I haven't had a chance to discuss this with anybody, but I was thinking, we've had really great success with the QR codes that are posted at the high school. I'm not sure if we have them at the other schools or not, but I know that we were having great success at the high school. With the new law that's passed now that the students cannot take out cell phones during the school day, had we thought about how to work around that so that students still feel safe and secure in coming out and speaking out when they see something?
Yes, sir. Mr. Trevino, members of the board, we do have those QR codes in the hallway at every campus, not just at the high school or just at secondary schools, and kids use them. And although we have a very strict policy in the state, the law does make concessions for things like this. So if it's for us to report, self-harm or a potential incident, a potential threat, then the law does make concessions for that, and our principals are well aware of it. And we've said we're taking a rational approach. Yes, if they're texting, we're gonna redirect. But if they're holding it up and then they begin to fill in the Google that we were actively working on that came from students reporting. Yes, sir, they are well aware. We make them aware that they can still do that.
Thank you for that, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions? Just a comment, Dr. Salazar, on the School Safety Security Committee. You mentioned that that's 3 times this year. I just want to compliment you on making sure that you reach out obviously to everyone and include the parents, everyone is in attendance, the chief, the different organizations, and I think that is fantastic that you build that rapport. Just a comment on that.
I appreciate that, but I would be remiss if I didn't give that credit to Chief. He's the one calling the meeting, posting the agendas, and not sending an invitation and friendly reminders that the meeting is coming up and we need their participation. So I really appreciate his due diligence when it comes to those meetings and getting people in attendance.
Chief, thank you for what you do. I think that also speaks well of his experience at working in community school PD. You probably have relations there, so thank you for what you've done on that. Mr. Trevino, when you're board president, you allowed me to attend that meeting the first time, and I've done 2 times, 3 times this year. But thank you for that because it really opened your eyes to the building up that teamwork. Thank you. Dr. Costa?
Mr. Henderson, if there are any other questions, I don't think anyone signed up for public comment.
Thank you, Glenn, for public comment. Thank you for that interesting report. Very important for us, and we do appreciate you taking time to give a complete report. Action item 7. Discuss, item number 1, discuss and take action to approve the superintendent's personnel recommendations for the following positions for the 2025-2026 school year. A, Counselor, do I have a motion? Mr. Trevino?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that the board approve superintendent's personnel recommendations for the following positions for the 2025-2026 school year. A, Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Do I have a second? Ms. Garcia? Discussion? No discussion? All in favor, please raise your hands. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Action item 7.2. Discuss and take action to approve the substantial completion of the President's United Sports Field Lighting Project. Do I have a motion? Mr. Castillo. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Mr. Trevino. Any discussion on this item? All in favor, please raise your hands. Motion carries unanimously. Action item 3, discuss and take action to approve partial substantial completion of the Performing Arts Center. Do I have a motion? Ms. Garcia?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve partial substantial completion of the Performing Arts Center.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Do I have a second? Mr. Castillo? Okay. Discussion. Actually, I do have, if we can turn to page 87, I think we have a architecture tonight. Is that correct, Dr. Salazar?
Mr. Chris of Metamorphosis, architectural firms here this evening.
Good evening, Ms. Garcia, members of the board.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming out here tonight. You've done a fantastic job. Let me just start off with you've done a fantastic job with bringing that vision to life. Many of us completed the walkthrough this week, one of many over the last year and a half. It is really amazing, the attention to details, and that you did not sell it short. You set it up and you completed the vision down to the staining, the steps, the plantings, the stones. We heard stories of you number each stone, so you were right. We appreciate that attention to detail. So thank you, Mr. C.S. I'm going to open up for any other questions.
contractual definition of substantial completion where the spaces are ready for you all to be able to move in and move furniture in. We made a very specific exception on this partial substantial completion because the auditorium space is not to the point yet where you can use it for its intended use. And so that's the difference between full completion and this partial substantial. Once the auditorium is completely ready and it is ready to be used for its intended purpose, we will grant a substantial completion for the entire facility.
Other comments, questions? Ms. Garcia?
So I went on Friday. I think you went on Friday too to see it. Metamorphosis took it to a different level, I think, than what I had ever envisioned. So I'm very thankful for that. I mean, we paid you well for it, but but wow! I mean, you all, your team just did a phenomenal job. Like, I got a little emotional when I was walking through it. I was telling Dr. Salazar, wow. I remember when we were just talking about what to call the building. Program Heart Center, Multi-Purpose Center. So it's been years for us. So to see it, to see it, instead of just seeing it on paper, the foyer is just beautiful, that side is just beautiful, and just very, very proud of the work that everybody here did, and that everybody in the district did to help make it happen, and then also just proud of the artistic qualities that you all brought to it, because, I never thought of it coming to fruition the way it actually has. Even after seeing as many as we saw, this one, maybe because it's ours, it's just so nice, so nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Super kind of you. And I will say, this is our favorite building in our portfolio of projects. We're really proud of it, and we think kudos to the school district and you all for leadership and the vision for it. You got to realize it's your vision coming to life, and we're just kind of we help that happen. So just kudos to the school district.
So part of the reason we wanted the board to walk and we worked around everybody's schedule, so you may have seen us there a whole lot this past week, was to show partial substantial completion. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I know this is an award-winning project, and I'm happy to hear it's part of the bigger project in the portfolio. But I've communicated to the board that you have served as an agent for our school district, the agent for the district. We're looking out to make sure plans that are put in are the right plans. I just want to give you an opportunity to reassure them that the punch list that we have in place is going to be sought after until the very end of the project. And I did provide the board with a memo from our CFO that shows the retainage that we will hold on the building. This is spelled out in our contract. So we do have a significant amount for retainage. But would you, Mr. Cias, please share with them your role in ensuring that punch list is complete?
Yeah, and we walked the project about a week ago to develop with the contractor a punch list of minimum items, because the contractor, the way it works, the contractor gives us their punch list first. We've been waiting, so we went out and said, we're going to walk you with you and we're going to create this punch list together. And so we put a list of, I want to say, maybe 20 pages of items that are not to our satisfaction, not per specs, what you guys should expect to be paid for. And so we will go through the process of the architecture team formally going and creating our own punch list. Like, once they are ready for full substantial completion, we will walk it, and we're going to create a pretty detailed punch list
the architect that contractors can have 30 days to complete, and we hold them to it. If they don't complete contractually, that's what the retainage is for. You are able to go and, I urge you not to go this route unless something just really catastrophic happens, but that retainage is there for you to use in case you can hire somebody else to finish the work. But we will, this is a good contractor, and they will complete the work. So
with that, sir, I just want to thank you for your professionalism through this entire project. Always very responsive, taking our calls, and your willingness to attend meetings, progress meetings in person, and one that's been required. Appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you for all the members.
Okay, Mr. Trevino.
I just want to echo that, Mr. Cias, and every time I talk to the superintendent, and when he asked me to do the walkthrough, my question was, what does the punch list look like and when is it going to be done? And so he shared with me the conversations that have taken place and how to have, really taken the lead and protected us as a district to ensure that we are getting quality in that facility. And in walking through it, yes, there's still quite a bit of things that need to be done, but I'm eased about that in the experience that I've had working, with the district, working with your company, and everything that you said you would do, you've done, and I just really, I think the world of you guys, and I really appreciate the work that you've done. And you can tell it's more than just a project for you all, and I really do appreciate that. And I'm sure the community is really going to love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Any other questions? Mr. Cias, just clarification. I noticed on our certificate of partial substantial completion, we're at one number. I noticed on our memo, it looks like we're about 200 in addition to that. So basically, we're saying that we would still have a cushion built in if we needed to. Is that correct? A cushion on top of the cost estimate to be completed or corrected, about 1 million.
Yeah, you have more in retainage than what this estimated amount for corrective items is worth.
And what would you visualize the completion being at? I know you said 30 days, so we're looking at about November.
Yeah, we have a walkthrough scheduled with, the big thing still pending is a walkthrough with all the special systems consultants. So the video systems, the audio systems, the lighting systems, the things that make this a performing arts center. And we have that scheduled walkthrough October 7th. It's right now that's scheduled at this point. So when they walk in and we confirm all the systems are in place, 30 days from there is when we expect the contractor to make any final corrections. So October 4th or 7th to November 7th is what I anticipate.
Thank you, Mr. Cias. If there are no further questions, again, we appreciate your vision and your commitment to the details. It's a beautiful work. Thank you for giving us something that the community is going to be a landmark for our community.
We think it's fantastic, so congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second discussion. All in favor of discussing take action to approve partial substantial completion of the performing arts center, please raise your hand. Motion carried unanimously. Item number 4, discuss and take action to approve agreement contract for the renewal of subscription to Power School Group LLC. Do I have a motion? We have a motion approved by Mr. Castillo. Do I have a second? Mr. Trevino, discussion? No discussion. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carried unanimously. Item number 8, closed session. Discuss all items that look regarding personnel recommendations. That one we've already taken care of. Deliberation regarding safety and security measures, management measures. We're going to closed session time, Mr. Castillo.
Mr. Henderson, members of the board, on Thursday, September 25th at 6 p.m., we'll have our homecoming parade, weather permitting. On Monday, September 29th, that is a professional learning day. It is a student holiday. And Saturday, October 4th, is at 8:30. We have a PAC and CTE dedication. And then on Monday, October 13th, is our regular school board meeting. Athletics, we have volleyball on Saturday, September 27th at 1 p.m. versus San Benito. That's away at San Benito. And Friday, September 26th at 7 p.m. Falcons versus the Edinburgh Bobcats. That is our homecoming and band night. Those are all the announcements we have.
Thank you, Dr. Salazar. At 11, adjourned. Time is 7:40.
Thank you, Dr. Canales.
And Jose.
Thank you, sir.